I survived 100 days stranded on a deserted island in hardcore Minecraft. I transformed the small island into an amazing looking paradise, so stick around to see that. Also, this video took me way too long to make, so please like and subscribe because I'm trying to hit 69 billion subscribers. But let's get right into day number 1. Alright, I'm on a deserted island. I started to assess my surroundings and saw that basically all there was just a single tree. Luckily, it was one of the big ones, and next I did something super duper unexpected and chopped it down. Crazy, right? I made a wood pickaxe and mined cobble to upgrade to stone tools. I also replaced the saplings that the tree had dropped. I broke some grass for seeds so that I could get an infinite source of food. At first I didn't get any seeds, but then my luck got better and I got 4 total, which I planted by the water. But that's gonna take a while to grow, and I need food while that was growing. The only other option is fish. Well, there is kelp, but that is a garbage food source. Using the bone meal I got from the fish, I got some more seeds and planted them with the others. I realized night was approaching and I didn't have any gear to fight off mobs, so I headed into a strip mine. After a while, I ran into a cave and somehow found diamonds almost instantly. I didn't even have an iron pickaxe to mine them with. Not to mention the skeletons guarding them. I made an iron pickaxe as well as a shield and mined the diamonds. There were only 2, but I'll take them. I also found an iron vein that had so much iron it was crazy. Back on the island, day 2, I smelted all my iron I got the previous day into iron ingots. I also saw that I wasn't alone on the island, I had a turtle. I should have killed it, that would have been funny. While flattening the island a bit, a tree grew. I chopped it down. Night was approaching once again, so I headed back into the caves where I took out an enderman and got a pearl. I also got a ton more iron. Not much interesting happened day 3. Other than almost dying, I just stayed calm and took out the skeleton that was bullying the poop out of me. Then I full box peace controlled myself to heal. I came up from the mines and realized I had no food, so I took out some of the local wildlife until nighttime. That is an unusual amount of apples right there, holy. I spent the night breaking several iron shovels, terraforming and flattening the terrain. I want to build a base for myself soon, but I needed a nice flat area to do so. Kept flattening out the land, breaking a few more shovels in the process. Once I had it in the shape I wanted, I replaced the stone on the ground with dirt. I don't want stone showing on my island, that's just ugly. I finished at night and phantoms started spawning, yay! There were no sheep on the island, so it's pretty much impossible to get a bed at the moment. I was tired of phantoms, so I continued mining down until I got to Y-58 and started strip mining for diamonds. I was strip mining all day 5 and got a few diamonds. I'll take it. I continued mining for diamonds and I got a total of 10. After my 4th pickaxe or something broke, I don't remember exactly, I headed back up where I chopped down a ton of trees and started making a bridge, which was very tough to do because of all the phantoms cyberbullying me. Bro, leave me alone. I finished the bridge eventually and began working on the giant dirt circle where all my farms will be. I didn't bother making it a perfect circle, but I made an outline and filled it in. I'm telling you, phantoms need to be removed from the game. They absolutely suck. Today, I made myself a home. My farm, which for some reason I hadn't planted any crops on yet, looked like it turned into a mob spawner. Nice. I think my house looks pretty good. Not sure how long I'm gonna be able to work with this small place though. With some of the diamonds I had previously mined, I made a diamond chestplate. Also, I strip mined more and found a mineshaft. This was huge. Mineshafts have a lot of cobwebs everywhere, which you can craft into wool. That's the only way I can get wool in this world since sheep can't spawn on the island. Now I can finally make a bed and get rid of stupid phantoms, yay! I found some diamonds in the mineshaft, and cave spiders are another annoying mob. Yeah, I love annoying mobs. I found a few more diamonds day 10 while exploring the mineshaft. I also came across pumpkin seeds and beetroot seeds. I can't get those without those chests, so that was very lucky. I say that and then never bothered to plant them in the entire 100 days. At some point, I guess a zombie had dropped a carrot because I had one, and then after a while another one dropped a potato. After I thought I had explored all of the mineshaft, I headed back up and actually got to sleep in a bed. That's crazy. I think my next priority is to make a mob spawner. It will provide tons of XP as well as a ton of bone meal for my crops. On day 11 I started on the build. At night I jumped back down and tried to go to bed. Wait, that's a chicken! I murdered the unarmed orphan riding it and took it back to my base so I can collect its eggs. I got a few more resources and then headed back up to the mob grinder to finish it. While working on the roof, I ran out of deep slate, so I headed back to the mines to collect more. Once my iron pickaxe broke, I decided to make a diamond one. I mined a little more, and by the time I came back up to the surface, it was night. I got back to work day 13 and I finished the roof. After placing trapdoors inside along with water, the farm was fully functional. It wasn't doing too great though. More mobs were spawning on my island than they were on the farm. I don't even know what I was doing day 14. Then I put slabs on the water and put torches on them so that instead of spawning there, they would spawn in my mob grinder. I just farmed for the rest of the day. I noticed that the mob grinder was not doing the best job. I pillared up a bunch and let water flow down so I would have a nice safe landing. I was hoping that this would help mobs despawn. It helped a bit, but I wanted to be sure the mob grinder was working in the first place, so I mined in and this happened. We don't talk about it. I fixed it by the end of the day. Spent all day 16 fishing. It's pretty calming. This is what I got by the end of the day. I was grinding the mob farm today. Since a lot of the mobs that fell down died instantly, I raised it up by a layer. By the end of the day, I got a zombie villager. This is huge. Now I can get villagers. I got it into a boat, drove it off the platform and over to my house where I put stuff over it so that it didn't burn. I want to make a weakness potion to cure the zombie villager, but for that I need to make a brewing stand using blaze rods. I headed into the nether and got a few mushrooms. While gathering blocks, I may or may not have taken a bath in some lava and got super weak. So I left the world. When you leave and rejoin, you have a second of invincibility. So when I rejoined, the fire didn't do any damage. But this doesn't last very long, and I didn't want to risk taking any more damage, so I repeated the process. Once I joined back, I was fine. Not even close. After exploring for like 2 seconds, I found a fortress, so I bridged over to it and made my way inside. I farmed lots of blazes and got some diamonds in a few chests. I got a smithing template in a chest, which is like a 10% chance to find or something, so that's pretty cool. After collecting 11 blaze rods, I headed back home where I made a brewing stand and made some potions of weakness. I made the potions into splash potions and cured the villager. While waiting for it, I went up to the mob grinder and got another zombie villager. Perfect. I can get it into a boat and drive it off the thing again, but I did it in the daytime because I'm really smart and it burned. Oh well. Day 21 was just a chore day. I chopped down trees and expanded my crops. I started off the day by looking around trying to find my chicken. I never found it. Then I went back up to my mob grinder and got a second zombie villager. Once I get it, I'll be set for life because I can just breed them. Unfortunately, I never got one. After grinding all day, I got a zombie villager, which I brought down. It didn't die this time because I brought it down during the night. No way, I actually did something right for once. I cured it and did a few random things until it was cured. I spent the next day collecting materials to build a house for the villagers. It took way longer than it should have. I started on the villager house. By the end of the day, I'd made good progress, but I wasn't quite done yet. I finally finished the villager house today. I think it looks pretty decent. I even put a glass thingy in the middle for them so that they can stare into the cold, dark, unforgiving ocean. I bred the villagers today and added a few more beds. I was also happy to see a baby villager had been born. Then I went to the nether to barter with piglins to collect leather for an enchantment table. I got a good amount of leather from bartering, but I still need a lot more for 15 bookshelves, so I started murdering hoglins. Still doing the same thing the next day. I may have almost died once or twice, but I was fine. After a while of bullying demon pigs, I was pretty sure I had enough leather for a full enchantment setup. So I headed back home, and I just gotta say it was really nice to be back in the overworld, even though it was night and raining. I finally made an enchantment table. I crafted all the books and then realized I need literally one more leather. Luckily, I guess I had gotten one when I spent an entire day fishing, so I used that and made myself 15 bookshelves. After clearing some trees, I set it up and got some lapis. The enchants I got were not very good. So after making diamond leggings, I headed back into the nether, again, to mine quartz and get to level 30. After that, I re-enchanted my pickaxe and got silk touch, but I need fortune. After getting some more levels, I got fortune too, along with a bunch of other stuff. You know, I'll take that. I headed down into the mines because I feel like a poor person that doesn't have full diamond tools and armor yet. At some point, I mined straight into a spawner and the loot was not amazing. By the end of the day, I had a total of 18 diamonds. As I was heading back, I accidentally used a glitch and saw another mob spawner. I looted it, which was also garbage, and realized it was super close to the first spawner I'd found. I should probably build a farm there in the future. When I got back up to the surface, I made full diamond armor and tools, and then spent the rest of the day grinding XP at the mob grinder. I spent all day at this super slow mob grinder. I also got respiration 3 on my helmet. That is super useful since now I can breathe underwater a lot longer. And in case you haven't been able to tell by now, yeah, there's a good amount of water surrounding me. I built a tower up to height limit to see if that would allow more mobs to spawn at the farm. I can't really tell if it worked. I spent the rest of the day and night pressing left click. Once I reached level 36, I jumped down and saw a wandering trader. Sadly, it didn't offer any new saplings, which I was disappointed by, but it did have melon seeds at the very least. I farmed the rest of the day because profits. I finally was able to fill the entire plot of land with crops. I also remembered that fortune has an effect on carrots and potatoes, so don't roast me in the comments about how much of an idiot I am. I was grinding XP today and got the worst enchantments possible. I went down into the caves to get some redstone for a farm I want to build, but while doing that I stumbled into diamonds. Then more. Then even more. I came across a different mineshaft even closer to my base than the other one. I noticed a skeleton spawner, and in a chest I got an enchanted golden apple. Those are very rare. Oh, I found even more diamonds. The mineshaft led into a cave, which led into more caves, and there were just so many caves. I got a ton of gold and iron and stuff, but eventually mined back up to the surface because I got lost and swam back to my island during the night. I spent all day 38 gathering materials for an iron farm, and I started it the next day. Well, I thought I was gonna. I was just making the bridge over to the artificial island I was gonna make. It was very annoying because I had to make the bridge diagonal and I had to keep changing it and it was just a pain. I thought it looked pretty good by the end of the day. By the way, I've been living off pork chops ever since I killed all those hoglins. I actually started on the farm today. I made good progress on it and now I need to put the villagers in. I need 3 villagers and I got 2, which I can breed and make a 3rd one. I started off day 41 by breeding some villagers. Then I went to the iron farm that is still a work in progress and tried to breed them, but they just didn't. I threw them a bunch of different things, but they just still refused. I was going to have to bring a 3rd villager up, but I need to wait until nighttime to do it, unless I want to waste a bunch of iron on rails, but nah. I just farmed for the rest of the day and made money. I was only able to farm half the field because that's how much land I have. I was about to go bring up a 3rd villager, but I checked just to make sure they hadn't made a baby yet, but surprisingly, they actually had, so I just went to bed. I did a bit more building on the iron farm today, but I didn't finish it because I needed a zombie. Yay, another thing I have to bring up. Also, I have to wait until nighttime to do it. Great. I farmed the other half of the field I didn't get to the day before, and once it was night, I got the zombie into its spot first try. Then I name tagged it something you should definitely do. Subscribe. I was going over to finish the iron farm, but I guess it was already working since a golem had spawned. I murdered it without a second thought. After doing a few more things, I finally finished the iron farm. Then I sat in my house for the rest of the day to see how well it would do in about 10 minutes. Over a stack of iron in like 10 minutes is pretty good, not gonna lie. This will be working in the background whenever I'm on this island, so eventually I will get a ton of iron from this thing. I noticed 2 turtles were right by each other, so I got some seagrass and bread. Bread? I don't know, I like bread better. Anyway, I breeded the turtles and they just refused to lay eggs. Bro, what are you doing, Dumbo? Eventually I saw the eggs that the turtles had laid, and let's just say I don't think they'll be having scrambled eggs for breakfast anytime soon. What? Anyway, I wanted to get a librarian villager to sell me mending, but I'm broke and have no leather. I headed to the nether to get some leather. Hey, that rhymes. After seeing some Dumbo villagers in there for some reason and kindly helping them out, I bartered with the pigmen so you got a pretty solid amount of leather. Then I murdered them. Next I got even more, but this time I also got a few pearls and then I murdered them again. I also accidentally hit a double clutch thingy. Nice. For some reason on my way back I started god bridging. Not sure why, but I did do pretty good. Before I headed back through the portal I ended some villagers suffering. Okay, but for real though, always help out a child in need just as I did. I made some lecterns and got to work re-rolling. Yay, my favorite thing to do ever in all the history of Minecraft and real life other than your mom. However, I was offered efficiency 5 for very cheap, which I can't pass up, and after a while I got mending. I applied that to my pickaxe because, in case you haven't noticed by now, it was super low, and I grindstone my shoes which just had Unbreaking 3 and I got a better enchantment. I was pretty excited to have mending, so I headed up to the mob farm, which is super slow and inefficient. After almost all day grinding there, the pickaxe wasn't even full durability. You may be wondering, why am I watching this idiot farm crops all day? First off, shut up, I didn't ask, this is my island, I do what I want. The reason I'm doing this is 2 words, profits. I also made an auto bone meal converter thingy that converts seeds into bone meal. Before they were just wasting chest storage and inventory space. And as a bonus of trading with villagers, I got my pickaxe fully mended up. Nope, no sleep for you, give me money. Day 48, I was mining stone and stuff for a mine entrance, which I started building day 49. Something actually happened while building. I know, crazy right? A wandering trader spawned. It had absolutely nothing of use. I bought a lily pad and some other things cause why not, but I really need saplings from these guys. I finished the mining entrance by the end of the day. I really like how it turned out. Oh, also I'm halfway through the 100 days. I re-enchanted my pants but got garbage enchants as usual. I wanted more levels, but after seeing the rates of the mob grinder, I knew I needed to change something. My plan was to light up caves underneath the island since that could be what's taking up the mob cap, but I only have 6 coal. After grinding coal for a while in water caves, I had collected a pretty good amount, so I headed down into the caves and lit a bunch of places up. I also had a pretty close call, but luckily my reaction time is decent so I wasn't blown to pieces. Oh, and I also found some diamonds. After placing more torches and farming more coal, I headed back to my base, which was really quick because of Dolphin's Grace. Jeez. Also, I may or may not have tried to kill an iron golem and almost died. I got him though. The mob grinder seemed to be doing a tiny bit better than it was before, but there was hardly any difference. Day 54, I think it's time to start preparing for the Ender Dragon fight. Since I don't have enough pearls, I headed into the nether to trade with piglins. While looking for them, I hit another double clutch. It's weird because like off camera I suck at stuff like that, and then once I start recording I'm just cracked. After bartering with piglins for a while, I got over 16 ender pearls and a ton more leather. On the way back I mined more quartz until I hit level 33 and saw the villager I pushed down there so long ago. Unfortunately, it was still alive. I enchanted my bow and got actually good enchants. I saw I had some extra levels, so I enchanted my pants again. Guess what? Fire protection. In case it's not clear by now, I wanted regular protection. I made my eye of enders and sailed in the direction it took me. I actually saw mainland, something I hadn't seen in so long. After a while, the eye pointed backwards, and once it went straight down, I made a little tunnel thing and dug down. And I hit bedrock. I went back up mining in every direction along the way and still didn't find the stronghold. The eye, however, still pointed down. At this point, I was beginning to think that the world was glitched and there was no stronghold or something. I was about to give up when I finally found the stronghold. I stumbled upon the portal room pretty quickly and got cyberbullied by silverfish. Then I put in the eyes and hopped into the portal. After digging my way up, I started taking out all the crystals. After the crystals were taken care of, I started bullying the dragon with my bow. Once it perched, I did so much damage to it and ender pearl clutched. And after it perched again, it was super weak and I finished it off with my bow. I collected the XP and hopped into the new gateway that had appeared. Also, this is why I don't speed bridge over the void. Just kidding, I didn't let that stop me. Eventually, I saw a city loading in and it had a ship. After some risky maneuvers, I made it to the city. The shulkers were completely bullying me. Holy cow, they would not stop spitting at me. After getting my revenge, I took the good loot that they had. I bridged my way over to the ship and also floated. I got some insane feather falling boots, and then bro, why do I always get fire protection pants? The next chest had better pants though. And finally, I was able to get an elytra. For some reason, I decided to mine all the obsidian in the ship. I forgot to get the dragon head, but don't worry, I found another end city while flying around that had a ship. I got some really good loot as well as the elytra. I also made sure to kill as many shulkers as possible for shulker shells. Shulker boxes are very useful. But I got the dragon head and went back home just in time to see the sunset. Wait, that's a sunrise. I checked on the iron farm day 58, it was doing great already. Then I made a new chestplate and enchanted it for some reason. I guess it was because my other one was about to die, but I got really good enchants. My hat was also pretty weak and only had protection 3 like a peasant, so I made a new one and enchanted it. After like 69 tries, I got a decent one, and combining the two hats cost so many levels I was broke after that. To combine my boots to the one that had feather falling, I needed 20 levels, so I spent the rest of the day at the super ultra mega slow XP farm. I was able to combine them by the end of the day. I decided to turn on shaders day 59. Honestly, I don't see why I don't do it more often. Everything looked so much better. Today was a chore day, well, other than flying around and looking at my island so far. But yeah, I just farmed and traded with villagers all day. I didn't like my enchantment table setup thing in the spot where it was, and I wanted to build something to put it in. I headed down into the mines to grab a lot of calcite and the white stone thing, I forgot what it's called. Granite? Graphite? Anyway, I started on the build. After finishing most of it, I decided to go to the nether and get the redwood thing. I forgot what that's called too. I was also wondering what the shaders look like in the nether, and they look great. I farmed plenty of wood and also got some of the streamlights. See, I can remember what that's called, but not the wood. Anyway, I continued on the build. I somehow ran out of wood. Awesome. Tomorrow I will have to go get more. And that's what I did day 62. After farming more wood than I needed, I headed back home where I finished the enchantment thingy. The enchantment place was looking good, but there wasn't an enchantment place inside. I removed it from its original spot with my silk touch axe and put it in the enchantment tower. I also added some lights and was able to put my new flooring in. After that, I just farmed. After trading with villagers, I headed down into my mine because I wanted to make a farm out of that double zombie spawner I had found. Once I found it, I began clearing out the area. I got one of the spawners to work today. My plan was to link up all the zombies from the second spawner to this killing chamber as well, so I started on that. My plan actually worked day 67. The zombies from the other spawner fall into the first spawner and just fall in here with the other zombies where I kill them. After making an adjustment, I spent the whole day at the farm. I wanted to see which was faster, this or the mob grinder I built on the surface. Oh, I also found out that a bunch of children were getting stuck in the fences, so I fixed the problem. I had gone from 28 levels to 35, meaning I gained 7 levels. That is honestly very bad and I regret wasting my time building this farm. Day 69, nice. I swam to the mob grinder and began collecting XP. By the end of the day, I had gone from level 35 to 38. Pathetic. There was one more thing I had to do before the end of day 69, however, it required seagrass. I wanted to breed my turtles, but when I was about to breed them, there was only one turtle in sight. Quickly, I found another one swimming and politely threatened it. It followed my orders, but then the other one disappeared. I could not find it for the life of me. Eventually, I found it, led it over to my island, and forced them to make me babies. Believe me, it took a while because they were just digging in the sand and not making eggs, but eventually, they laid some. Only one? I think today is the day I'm gonna get rid of the mob grinder. It's so ugly and I want to build an island in that direction, so I got to work. I finished destroying it the next day. There was still a ton of junk left in the water. They should all despawn soon. Remember kids, always leave trash in the ocean. For legal reasons, that was a joke. I headed to the nether to get some netherite because I was tired of living like a peasant with my diamond armor. The piglins were mad at me, so I just ignored them and dug down. Somehow, right after, I instantly ran into debris. Here's my staircase, and here's where I found the debris. Also, I think the strat to finding ancient debris is just strip mine until you reach a giant lava pool, then go back through your tunnel and mine like this. Very effective method. By day 75, I had gotten a total of 32 ancient debris. I headed back to the overworld, cooked the debris, and then realized I'd forgotten about the netherite template I need. I always forget about that, I'm so dumb. So the next day I went into the nether and looked for a bastion. I found one right away, and it was the best type of bastion. I kinda suck at looting them though, which I unfortunately had to learn the hard way in a previous world, so I was pretty worried about this. Alright, here's the plan. I make my way inside the bastion and carefully get to the bottom where all the loot is, shooting all the piglin brutes along the way with my bow. After that, I grab the netherite upgrade, super carefully make my way out of the bastion, and fly home. I made my way up and took out a bunch of the brutes. Then I drank my fire resistance potion just in case and headed inside and was definitely a 100% super careful as I dove down into the pit of chaos. I spleefed a bunch of piglin brutes and hopped around on the random blocks at the bottom of the bastion before grabbing my netherite upgrade as well as all the gold blocks. After that I headed into the other side of the bastion that had a few brutes in it, but I was fine. In a chest had Pigstep, let's go! Pigstep is the #1 music disc in the game, better than Other Side and all that other garbage. I yoinked all the gold blocks on that side of the bastion and went back home. I started duplicating my netherite upgrades but quickly realized that I didn't have enough diamonds. So I headed into the mines and strip mined all day and only got 1 vein of diamonds. Then for some reason I went to bed in the strip mine. I had absolutely 0 luck with diamonds during the first 10 minutes of the day, but then my luck started to pick up and I got a pretty good amount. I also found like 3 spawners or something. It was crazy, and also all the loot was garbage. I made my way back home and duplicated the rest of the netherite upgrades. I checked up on my turtle egg and thought, why do I only have 1 turtle egg when I can have infinite? Then I turned all my armor and tools to netherite. Nice. I lured a turtle up on land and made it a little hole so it would be stuck in there forever. However, the same problem that happened the other day occurred this time as well, where I could not find a second turtle to breed with. While looking for it, I trimmed up some of the seaweed that was overgrown because it looked terrible from the island, but I unfortunately never found another turtle. I finally found another turtle day 80, so I brought it back onto the island and shoved it into the hole with the other turtle. Then I bred them and watched them lay eggs. Oh, and I also made a diamond hoe, a really good use of diamonds because for the rest of the day I just farmed and got a pretty decent amount of emeralds. After seeing this garbage looking nether portal, I decided I needed an upgrade. I traveled to the nether to begin collecting blocks for a nether island. I grabbed lots of netherrack and soul sand, but after realizing I need silk touch to mine this red stuff, I grabbed some more blocks that I could mine and went back home to make a silk touch pickaxe. I made myself a new diamond pickaxe, and because I needed level 30, I went to my XP farm. I had to fix a problem in the farm here and there, but once I got to level 33, I went back home. Somehow, on my second enchant, I actually got a great silk touch pickaxe. Not gonna lie, I thought that it would take a lot longer than it did to get it. I went back to the nether to collect the red stuff, and after searching for a while, the blue stuff. Oh, and I got the achievement for exploring every nether biome. When I got back, I bred my turtles again and picked up their eggs now that I have silk touch. And then some pink idiot walked in there. But that was when I realized the first egg I ever got from these turtles had disappeared. The idiot had broken it. For that, it must pay. I had to grow a bunch of trees and chop them all down because I have something pretty cool in mind for the bridge there. I also don't have a dedicated area on my island for them anymore. The plan is to have the island in that direction and have 2 bridges on each side of this mine connecting to it. I started building it, but I decided that I wanted to use netherwood as well, so I went and did that. I continued working on the bridge. Here's my progress by the end of the day. I finished the bridges on the night of day 86. Alright, finally time to begin the island. I wanted it to be a perfect circle, and once I got one, I wanted a bigger one. But apparently I suck at making circles because it just did not want to work because this game hates me. The one good thing about using netherrack is that when I mess up, I can just insta-mine it. This is the progress I made by the end of the day. It looks so bad, I know, but it'll look better tomorrow. After realizing my mistake, I was finally able to make a good sized circle that I liked. I split the circle into 4 parts and began to fill them in. I got the red and blue biome filled in, and I added an extra layer to them to make them look more natural. While bone mealing the ground and growing trees, I accidentally found out that the blue stuff can spread onto netherrack. That's pretty neat. By the end of the day, it looked awesome. I began construction on the soul sand biome day 89. Again, I added an extra layer and I also put in some fossil thingies. After that, I started on the basalt biome, and after putting in a ton of spike things, I ran out of basalt. I'm also going to need to put a ton of lava in between them. After finishing up the basalt biome, I crafted a ton of buckets and collected a bunch of lava. I used the lava in the basalt biome and had to keep going back into the nether, collecting lava and placing it down. After actually finishing the basalt biome, I tore down my nether portal and moved it onto the island. Then I decorated it a bit and made a little path that goes to it. I really like how this is looking. I wanted to fight the wither before the 100 days is over, but I don't even have looting on my sword. Since I need leather to make books for a lectern, I lit my new nether portal and headed into the nether just to find out I spawned in a different place. Great. I went back to the overworld to get blocks and spawned in a cave. Great. I made my way up and then made a nether portal in a different spot so that they will link up properly. And luckily that did work. I grabbed all my gold and then traded with lots of piglins. I ended up with a good amount of leather, so I made my way back home just to realize I already had a ton of leather in a chest. Great! Oh, the voice crack. That was all just a huge waste of time. I got looting from a villager surprisingly quickly. After that, I headed into a nether fortress and began killing wither skeletons hoping for their skulls. I didn't get any today though. Somehow, within the first minute of day 94, I got back-to-back wither skulls. Do you know how rare that is? Nah, it's just YouTuber luck. By the end of the day, I had gotten my 3rd skull, so I went back home after grabbing a few soul sand. On day 95, I headed down into my mine to go kill the wither. I didn't want to fight it on my island because it would probably destroy it. I placed down the soul sand and then the skulls. I gappled up and started shooting the wither. For some reason, it was going upward, which is not good. I did not want it getting up to the surface and destroying my entire island. However, after getting it to half health, it came down, and after some PvP, I had beaten the Wither. It was a pretty easy fight, even though I made it sound kinda dramatic. I went back onto my island and wanted to build a beacon with another star I just got. I checked in with my iron farm and it was doing amazing. I easily had enough iron blocks to make a full beacon. I didn't want to place it yet though, I wanted to give it its own island. But for the rest of the day, I rearranged my farm into 3 parts and put a border around it. I added wheat, carrots, and on day 96, I added potatoes. I collected materials and then began on the new island for the beacon. I want there to be a castle around it. I built the beacon but didn't place the beacon on top just yet because I want to save that for last. I ran out of wood already somehow and I guess a beehive had spawned. That's pretty cool. The thing is, I was on day 96 and I was worried that I wouldn't be able to finish the castle before the end of the 100 days. It was a race against the clock. I was making great progress on the castle, however I'm slowly running out of materials. After grabbing a few more materials, I was finally able to finish off the castle. I finished it way sooner than I thought I would, and it looks amazing. I like how I used a variety of different blocks that look similar that add texture and stuff. Okay, I guess I wasn't actually finished because I started adding a roof to the castle, and then I tore it down because it was too low. I raised it higher, and the castle was now complete. I crafted a beacon and went inside to place it, but it was a madhouse in there. There were so many mobs, I just grabbed my arrows and murdered all of them. After that, I placed the beacon and gave myself haste. There I was, day 100 on the deserted island. Imagine I die now. I wanted to take it easy today. I just added some paths around the island to all the bridges and stuff. However, the turtles were in the way, so I just left them there and put a fence that nothing could get through. But hey, at least I didn't kill them. I was thinking about it. And then, as the sun was setting, I flew around and admired my island. I had transformed it from an island with nothing to paradise. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this, go down below and smash that like button and subscribe while you're at it. Later, nerds!